So now we are making the conformational isomers of ethane. As we know, the molecular formula of ethane is CH3CH3. So basically there are two carbon atoms. So one carbon atom will be the front carbon and second carbon atom will be the rear carbon atom. And we can see the front carbon is donated by the dot and rear carbon by the hollow circle. So basically front carbon has 3 carbon hydrogen projected bonds and also rear carbon has 3 carbon hydrogen projected bonds. See, now we will see the conformational isomers of ethane. As we can see in this case, this is front carbon. Blue pen which we have used is the front carbon, and this is the projected bonds of carbon hydrogen of front carbon, and the red pen shows the rear carbon, the carbon hydrogen bonds of rear carbon. This is carbon hydrogen bond of rear carbon, carbon hydrogen bond of rear carbon. As we can see in this case, the torsional angle is 0, theta is 0, and we know when theta is 0 we call this position as eclipse position, and in eclipse position the torsional strain is maximum, therefore stability is minimum. Now when we rotate, so keep the front carbon fixed, and rotate the rear carbon. So when we rotate the rear carbon by an angle of 60 degree, so basically by an angle of 60 degree, so in this case the theta becomes 60, torsional strain becomes 60, also angle of rotation is 60. So at an angle of 60 degree we can see this carbon hydrogen bond, front carbon hydrogen and rear carbon hydrogen are anti-position to each other. This front carbon hydrogen, rear carbon hydrogen anti-position to each other. So basically at theta is equal to 60 in ethane, we call position as staggered position, while when we rotate again at an angle of 60 degree, so again rotation by 60. So after rotation of 60 degree, eclipse form changes into staggered. Now again when we rotate the rear carbon, so basically front carbon is fixed, we are rotating the rear carbon. On rotating rear carbon first by 60, staggered form is obtained. When we rotate again by angle of 60, then again we get theta is equal to 0. So basically we again obtain the eclipse position. So there is repetition of the first form, after rotation of 60 and plus 60 degree. In this case alpha is 120. So finally alpha is 60 rotation, another 60 rotation, so alpha is 120. As we know that, so basically there are two forms, different forms. These two forms are the same, eclipse form, and in eclipse form and staggered form we know in eclipse form and staggered form is stable. Staggered form is stable than the eclipse form, because in staggered form the torsional strain is minimum, here torsional strain is maximum. So theta is 0, torsional angle is 0 in eclipse position, and torsion angle is 60 in staggered position. So alpha is basically angle of rotation and theta is torsional angle. Now we will discuss the case of hydrogen bonding in the conformers. See, the case of hydrogen bonding in case of conformers. As we can see the case, there are two carbon atoms. There are basically two carbon atoms. This is front carbon and this is rear carbon. So this is front carbon and this is rear carbon. As we can see, the front carbon is connected to 2 hydrogen bonds and connected with one OH group. In this case so numbering is 1, 2, 1 is front carbon and 2 is rear carbon. Now rear carbon also connected with 2 hydrogens and one OH group. Now see, so we can see the front carbon is connected with OH and 2 hydrogens, and rear carbon also connected with OH, rear carbon connected with OH and 2 H groups. So basically when theta is 60, so basically when theta is 60 degree between front carbon and rear carbon, so theta 60 between front carbon projected bond and rear carbon projected bond. So basically at an angle theta equal to 60, because hydrogen is connected with more electronegative atom oxygen, and there is lone pair of electron on oxygen atom. So there is hydrogen bonding, which we call intramolecular hydrogen bonding, because the hydrogen bonding is formed within the same molecule, therefore intramolecular hydrogen bonding. And this form we called gauge form. This form is called gauge form. So basically at theta equal to 60, which we call the gauge form of ethane 1,2 diol. So this compound is ethane 1,2 diol. So basically in ethane 1,2 diol, when dihedral angle is 60 degree, so in this position, gauge position, there is formation of intramolecular hydrogen bonding, due to which stability increases, and we know when stability increases means energy is less. See, so at theta equal to 60, this is gauge form. Also we can see when again rotation, so basically when these OH groups are at anti positions, so basically this we call anti position or staggered form, as we have seen in the case of ethane. In ethane, anti form is more stable than the, so anti form is the most stable form in ethane. But here we can see the gauge form is more stable than the anti form. Why gauge form is more stable than anti form? Because in gauge form there is formation of intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So due to intramolecular hydrogen bonding, stability is more and energy is less. So in case of ethane 1,2 diol, gauge form is more stable. Than the anti form. So gauge form is more stable than anti form because of presence of hydrogen bonding. So basically, what are the groups when the energy of anti form is more than the gauge form, and stability of gauge form is more than the anti form. See, so this is front carbon, this is rear carbon. So there must be on one carbon atom OH group is there, while on the, this is front carbon, this is rear carbon. While on the rear carbon there must be Z group. So Z belongs to fluorine. Z can be fluorine, or Z can be OH, Z can be aldehyde, Z can be carboxylic, Z can be ester, and Z can be NH2 group. So basically, if this is front carbon, this is rear carbon, so when OH is connected with one carbon, front carbon or rear carbon, and on the next carbon there is Z group. So Z can be fluorine, OH group, aldehyde group, carboxyl group, ester group, or amine group. So in all these cases there is stability of gauge form is more than the stability of anti form. Always remember, due to formation of hydrogen bonding, gauge form in all these cases is stable than the anti form. We can see the example. As we can see, this is front carbon. On front carbon this is OH group, while on the rear carbon this is Z. Z is CHO. As we know, when Z is CHO, then there is formation of hydrogen bonding. This is gauge form. While in this case OH and CHO groups are at opposite position. So we can see at theta is 60 degree. This is Z. Z belongs to CHO group. So we can see there is intramolecular hydrogen bonding, gauge form, and this is anti form. OH and CHO are opposite to each other. So due to intramolecular hydrogen bonding, gauge form is more stable than the anti form. This effect we call gauge effect. Because of presence of hydrogen bonding, gauge form becomes more stable than the anti form. Now we will discuss about the isomers, conformation isomers of hexane, cyclohexane. See, the conformational isomers of cyclohexane. As we know, in cyclohexane the chair form is the most stable form. In cyclohexane, chair form of conformational isomer is most stable form. So chair form can be interconvertible into half chair. Basically in half chair we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically 5 atoms are planar. So this is also another form of cyclohexane, which is boat form. As we see, in boat form, these carbon hydrogen bonds are we call flagpole interaction. So this carbon hydrogen bond we call flagpole interaction. So in this case, repulsion is maximum. Repulsion is there due to flagpole hydrogen. There is repulsion. We can also twist the boat. So boat changes into twist boat form, and also chair form. Can be interconvertible into half chair form. So how many forms there is conformational isomers of? These are the conformational isomers of cyclohexane. So cyclohexane can be conformed into chair form, half chair form, boat form, twist boat form, and half chair form and chair form. And the stability order, which is very important, you have to remember. The stability of cyclohexane in chair form is most stable. So chair form of cyclohexane is most stable form, while the half chair form is the least stable form, because more atoms lie in the plane. So most stability of cyclohexane in conformational isomer is chair form, then twist boat form, and then boat form, and then half chair form. Now we will discuss about the geometrical isomers. See, basically, that geometrical isomer belongs to stereoisomer topic. See, as in stereoisomer, we have discussed already about the conformers, which is rotamers, conformational isomers. Now we will study about the geometrical isomers. See, what are geometrical isomers? Basically, as we know, to show geometrical isomer, the condition to show geometrical isomer, basically we are looking for the geometrical isomer in a double bonded system. So we are looking for geometrical isomer in double bonded system. So there is double bond between carbon and carbon, and we see two groups A and B are attached with carbon atom. Also two groups C and D attached with this carbon atom. See the condition for GI. How this molecule can show geometrical isomerism? This molecule can show geometrical isomer. The condition is if A and B are not same. And also C and D should not be same. So basically A and B should not same, and also C and D also not same. So basically when A and B and C and D are not same, so A is not equal to B and C is not equal to D, then we can say this molecule can show geometrical isomerism. So this is one type of geometrical isomerism shown by the carbon-carbon double bond. See, so basically this bond, carbon-nitrogen double bonded system, can also show geometrical isomerism, and nitrogen-nitrogen double bonded system can also show isomerism. The condition is same. A and B should not same. C and D should not same. As we can see, H and CH3 are different groups. Lone pair and hydrogen also different group. So A is not equal to B, C is not equal to D. Therefore, we can see this molecule can show geometrical isomerism. So basically, geometrical isomerism can be shown by carbon-carbon double bond. So we are studying about the double bonded system. So carbon-carbon double bond can show GI. Carbon-nitrogen double bond can show GI, and also nitrogen-nitrogen double bond can show GI, because in this case A is not equal to B, C is not equal to D, so this can also show GI. So basically it shows that GI is not a property of carbon. So it is a property of all elements. Like nitrogen here, if they have restricted rotation. So basically geometrical isomerism is only due to geometrical isomer shown by the compounds only due to restricted rotation. So we have studied about the geometrical isomerism in the double bonded system. So the geometrical isomerism in double bonded system we have studied. The first condition we have seen, A and B should not be same, C and D also should not be same, and geometrical isomerism is not a property of carbon. It can be shown by carbon-carbon double bond, carbon-nitrogen double bond, nitrogen-nitrogen double bond. The condition is A not equal to B, C not equal to D. So geometrical isomerism is shown only due to restricted rotation. Remember this point. Geometrical isomerism shown due to restricted rotation. Now the question is, which compound can show GI? Which compound can show GI? As we can see, this is carbon-carbon double bond, and we know in double bonded system there is restricted rotation. This is A and this is B. We see A is not equal to B, and also this is C and this is D. So we can see C is not equal to D, and we know as this system is restricted rotation about carbon-carbon double bond, A not equal to B, C not equal to D. So this compound can show GI. This compound can show GI. Now see the next question. The next question is, we can see again restricted rotation about carbon-carbon double bond, but in this case we can see A and B are same. So A is equal to B, while C is not equal to D. But the condition for GI is A not equal to B and C not equal to D. So here A is equal to B, therefore this molecule cannot show geometrical isomerism. Now see the next question. Again we can see this is carbon-carbon double bond. As we can see, this is A and this is B. So basically here A is not equal to B. Here A is not equal to B. Now see the next. As we can see in this compound, C is connected with two carbon atoms. C is connected with two carbon atoms. But here we can see C is connected with oxygen carbon. So we can see this is C. When we cut this bond along horizontal plane, so these are two groups. So above this plane there is carbon-carbon, and below this place oxygen carbon. So A is not equal to B, and also C is not equal to D. So we can say it can show geometrical isomerism because A is not equal to B and C is not equal to D. Now see the next question. To show GI, as we can see in this case, this is carbon-carbon double bond. So cut the plane about this carbon-carbon bond. When we cut, we can see this is A, this is B. So A is not equal to B, and we can see when we cut about this bond, this is carbon-oxygen and this is carbon-carbon. So C and D are also different. So A not equal to B, C not equal to D. Therefore we can say this can also show geometrical isomerism. Now again we can see when we cut across carbon-carbon double bond, so here A is not equal to B. Chlorine and bromine different groups. But here we can see this is hydrogen. So basically C and D are same. Because C and D are same, so it cannot show geometrical isomerism. Now see the next example. As in this case we can see when we cut this across this pi bond, so in this case above the plane oxygen carbon bond, below the plane carbon carbon. So A is not equal to B. See, when we cut along the plane, above carbon carbon bond, below oxygen carbon bond. Again C is not equal to D, therefore it can show GI. Now see the next. The next we can see when we cut across this carbon carbon bond, A is not equal to B, and when we cut in above plane oxygen carbon oxygen, in below carbon oxygen. So basically carbon oxygen, C is equal to D. So A not equal to B, but C is equal to D. Therefore it cannot show geometrical isomerism. So these are the conditions for the geometrical isomerisms. Now we will discuss about the most famous form of geometrical isomerism, which is cis-trans form. See, cis-trans form of geometrical isomerism. As we can see in this case, this is carbon-carbon double bond, and this is A and B, and we know when A is not equal to B, and this is C and D, C is not equal to D, so it can show geometrical isomerism. It can show geometrical isomerism. Bisect this molecule into two equal half by passing through a plane. So pass a plane. This plane is horizontal plane I am passing and cutting the molecule into two equal halves. As we can see, when a bisecting plane is passed, so two same groups which is chlorine lie on the opposite side of plane. Two same groups are lying at the opposite side of plane, so this isomer we call trans isomer. If a compound can show geometrical isomerism, and in geometrical isomerism, if two same atoms are lie on the opposite side of plane, then we call this isomer as trans isomer. Now see, again, when we pass a plane through this carbon-carbon bond, so basically two same atoms, if two same atoms or group are lie on the same side of the plane, so these two Cl atoms are lying on the same side of this plane, above plane, so this isomer we call cis isomer. So basically, if a compound can show geometrical isomerism and two same atoms are lying on the opposite side of the plane, we call trans, and two same atoms are lying on the same side of the plane, we call cis, and on the opposite side of the plane we call trans. So this is the cis trans isomerism shown by the geometrical isomers. Now we have the compound butene. As we can see, in butene, basically A is not equal to B, C is not equal to D, therefore it can show GI. And we can see two same groups. We have to see only two groups, not all. As we either you can see this or you can see this. If two same atoms are lie on the opposite side of the plane, then this is trans isomer. You may see hydrogen or methyl. Two same groups are lie on the opposite side of the plane, this is trans isomer. Now we will compare the dipole moment. As in this case we can see, this is sp2 carbon, this is sp3 carbon. Electronegativity of sp2 carbon is more, sp3 is less. So electronegativity sp, sp2 and sp3. So we can say electronegativity of sp carbon is more than sp2 and then sp3. As we know, basically the dipole moment direction is from less electronegative to more electronegative, This is sp2 carbon, sp3. More electronegative, less electronegative. Direction of dipole moment, less electronegative to more. Therefore, vector direction from less to more. Also, vector direction from less to more. As we can see, this pair and this pair is same. So, vector equal in magnitude, opposite in direction cancel out. This pair and this pair also same. Vector direction from hydrogen to carbon, less electronegative to more, less to more. So, these vectors also cancel out. So, we can say in this case, the net dipole moment is equal to 0. So basically, as vector sum is 0, therefore dipole moment is 0. And we know the boiling point is directly proportional to dipole moment. Now we will compare the cis isomer of butene. See, the cis isomer of butene. As we can see, when the same groups are lie on the same side, then we call cis isomer. Again, sp3, sp2, vector direction from less to more electronegative, As we can see, in this case, the resultant vector sum is not 0. Therefore, the dipole moment is not 0. So, we can see the dipole moment of trans is 0, while the dipole moment of cis isomer is not 0. Therefore, we can say the dipole moment of cis isomer is more than trans isomer, and dipole moment is directly proportional to boiling point. Therefore, the boiling point of cis isomer is more than trans isomer. Now we will discuss the melting points. As we know, the melting point of butene and cis butene and trans butene. Basically, melting point depends on Basically melting point depends on the close packing. The melting point depends on the close packing structure. So melting point depends on the close packing structure, and the close packing in case of trans is more effective. The packing in trans isomer is more stable as compared to cis. Therefore, because of close packing in trans, melting point of trans is more than the cis. So boiling point of cis is more than trans, but melting point of trans is more than cis because of effective packing in the trans isomer. Now we will discuss about the EZ isomer. So the next topic we are going to discuss about the EZ isomer. See what is EZ isomer. So we are going to discuss about the EZ isomer. EZ are basically also called geometrical isomer. So EZ isomer are also geometrical isomers. How? E stands for anti-gang, E stands for anti-gang, and Z stands for Joussamin. Z stands for Joussamin. So basically EZ isomer are geometrical isomer. As we can see, this is carbon-carbon double bond, restricted rotation. This is fluorine, this is chlorine, this is bromine, and this is iodine. So basically condition to show GI is A should not be equal to B and C should not equal to D. Then it can show geometrical isomerism. Now in this case we can see the atomic number basis. As we know, the atomic number of chlorine is more than fluorine, and atomic number of iodine is more than bromine. So higher atomic number give number priority as 1. So the atom with higher atomic number give priority with number 1. So basically in fluorine and chlorine, as we can see, A is not equal to B and C is not equal to D. So it can show geometrical isomerism. As all groups are different, it cannot show cis and trans, because for cis and trans at least one group or atom must be same. But here all groups are different, all atoms are different. So this cannot show cis or trans isomer. So this can show geometrical isomer of type EZ isomer, anti-gang and Joussamin. Now atomic number of chlorine is more than fluorine, so assign number 1 to chlorine as higher priority. So we decide the priority of left groups first and then right groups separately. So chlorine is higher priority because atomic number of chlorine is more than fluorine. Then number 2 is given to fluorine. Now see, so number 1 is given to chlorine because of high atomic number. Now in iodine and bromine, the atomic number of iodine is more than bromine, so atomic number higher for iodine, so therefore priority is given to iodine 1, and to bromine it is given 2. Now we can see higher priority groups lie on the same side. If higher priority groups lie on the same side of plane, then we call, if higher priority groups lie on the same side of plane, then the isomer we call Z isomer. So in this case, two higher priority groups lie on the same side of plane, so this isomer is a Z isomer. This isomer we call Z isomer. Now we will see if higher priority groups lie on the opposite sides. If higher priority groups lie on the opposite side of plane, then we call E isomer. For example, as we can see, this is carbon-carbon double bond, this is fluorine, this is chlorine, this is iodine, and this is bromine. As we know, atomic number of chlorine is more than fluorine, therefore higher priority to chlorine and then number 2 to fluorine. In iodine and bromine, higher priority of iodine, therefore 1 number to iodine and 2 number to bromine. As we can see, higher priority group 1 and 1, higher parity group lie on the opposite side of plane, therefore this isomer is E isomer. So this is all about the geometrical isomerism. Higher parity groups on the opposite side of plane, then E isomer, and if higher parity groups are lie on the same side of plane, then we call Z isomer.